I don't ask for a lot of things. I just ask that the one time I choose to record on a Thursday for my anime channel, there is some dude decides that, you know what, today would be a great day to test out the new jackhammer my wife gave me. Like, dude, it's 11 a.m. I get it. When people are hard at work, but god damn, don't use your fucking jackhammer so close to my window, bro. I pray that you guys don't hear it. I pray that I can take it out a bit, but if you do hear something, that's probably what it is. We're gonna jump in because this week something happened that I pretty much thought was gonna happen, and that's we get a nice like Jedi Council scene, right? Because we get like it's not a flashback, but we get a scene inside Deku's mind talking to all the One for All successors, and they're sitting in chairs in a circle, kind of like a Jedi Council thing going on. So we're gonna jump right in here to 304, talk about a few things, just a few interesting tidbits here that were mentioned on Twitter and in the spoilers here. So by all means, if you want to find them yourself, get up the old Twitter, get on the old researcher skills, get all your control Fs and your search bars, your search engines, and you can go find them yourself. But we're going to begin here with, of course, Nana Shimura talking to Deku here. This chapter is titled, let's see if we get the title. This chapter is titled Midoriya Izuku and Yagi Toshinori. I believe, he's not the first One for All user, I don't believe. But an interesting thing here is, of course, we get Nana talking to Deku. There's a bunch of promo things, but we then see All Might holding on to Deku's hand, and he's thinking something, right? And then that's when we get the big, Deku sitting in chair, or Deku coming down as he's, seeing all of the previous successors sitting in chairs. So we see Nana Shimura on the left here. We see the first One for All user. We see the one guy's talking. I presume this is Yagi Yoshinori, but I could be wrong. And basically they start giving him a full-on lecture. Now, I don't exactly know what they're saying because there's no translations as of now on what they're saying, but they're having a conversation. Alright? And the chapter ends with the line, preparedness to be tested. At that moment, Deku is blank. So that's weird, right? They're obviously talking about something. I presume it's very important. And Deku's been, he's basically having a conversation with all these users, right? Let me see if I can get some more. Here we go. So Deku's in the room, correct? And the first One for All user explains that back in the day, they can only interfere vaguely, but since 4 months ago, One for All had grown rapidly, and now the consciousness of each predecessor had become clearer and clearer, and now they can communicate with each other. So you see, One for All is kind of evolving, right? The quirk is so fucking OP. And then the first user then explains that All for One tried to pull One for All away by force, and it caused them to appear even more in front of Deku. So we see Banjao, the 5th user, says that Deku shouldn't need to worry because they will guarantee to keep Deku's privacy. And then let me get a little sip here. So we then see that an interesting thing here is Deku cannot talk in this little flashback. The 5th user reveals that Deku, during the fight with Shigaraki, can form vowels, meaning his mouth is starting to form. However, he can't fully talk. We then see Deku unexpectedly uses his power. Blibbity blue blah blue blue blue. An interesting thing here is that Shimori explains that his cause of death at 40 years old was old age. Deku was surprised. He continued that the conclusion is One for All is not something a normal human can use. Shinomori spent 18 years running from All for One because he knew he couldn't beat him and tried to foster the power instead. But in his last years, he felt the side effect of All for One on his body. At first, he thought that it's because he was training wrongly all this time, or because he got some kind of disease. But thanks to All Might's research, now he is sure that that his death was due having One for All's multiple quirks, and it burnt his life force, making him age faster, which in that case he died faster. So, and then we talk about how All Might had the power, but he used it for much longer, and the fact that All Might is still alive, that there's some way that you can use One for All without, burning through your life force. And then Deku figures out that it might be because All Might is quirkless. So the weird thing is so the conclusion they come to is that if you receive One for All with a quirk, that it causes you to shorten your lifespan. But when One for All is given to people who are quirkless, they're basically an empty glass, thus it is suitable for One for All. Passing it to people, it won't shorten their lifespan. It won't make them die young. However, an interesting thing here is one of the most interesting things is it says they also concluded that Deku cannot pass One for All to another person. Thus, he will be the last holder. And then we conclude with Nana Shimura saying, back to the main topic, can you kill Tomura Shigaraki? So, this is huge, right? This provides a lot of context and information that we didn't get before. So before I end here, I'm going to go ahead and go over the few things that we got. Number 1, quirkless One for All users do not shorten their lifespan upon receiving the quirk. So remember when we said Mirio was going to receive the quirk? Well, Mirio would have been dead in the next 20 years. All right, so good for Mirio for not getting One for All, because he would have died for sure. Number 2, Deku cannot pass the quirk to another person, thus making him the last successor. This is interesting to me because a lot of people were theorizing that Deku and Shigaraki's big fight to end the series would kind of end the society of quirks and go back to normal. So it makes even more sense that Deku is the last user of One for All, because if he truly is the last user, that means that when he inevitably defeats Tomura Shigaraki in the big fight that we're going to get in the series, his death will kind of conclude the One for All for One story, with presumably all for One taking, kicking the bucket, and then we'll see what happens to Shigaraki, whether Deku can kill him. And that's the last thing I want to talk about, is we all know that at this point Shigaraki is pretty much unredeemable. I highly, highly doubt he'll ever really turn back to the side of good. Therefore, the biggest question in pretty much all of superhero shows, kids shows, it happens in Avatar: The Last Airbender, it happens in Batman shows, all superhero shows, is whether or not Deku can kill Shigaraki. That can go 50-50 either way. Obviously, if he kills Shigaraki, it'll be better for the world, but we'll see if Deku has the capabilities to kill. We do know that heroes do kill in this society, thus Hawks taking out twice. So that's the big question. Let me know in the comments whether or not you think Deku will kill Shigaraki, or anything else in this big expositional dump we get here for One for All. A lot of context for the long-term series was given here, and from the sound of what Nana was saying, can you kill Shigaraki, it almost sounds like we're in the home stretch of the ending of the series. But we will see what happens. The series could go on longer, we don't know for sure. But as always, I'll let you guys go, and hopefully the jackhammer didn't annoy the shit out of you, because it would annoy me if I was listening to it.